everybody, and welcome to Roll with Advantage. Welcome to Book 7, Chapter 1 of The Adventures of the Salamander Coast. Very excited for today's session, titled The Dust Settles. Very excited to get into the ninth session. It's going to be a fun one. It's going to be a good session for me as a DM, because it's the one where I'm fairly confident I don't have much work to do, but I guess we'll see what happens. Always prepared for the best/worst, and I'm ready to go. So let's go and roll the intro and get into the game. All right, we're back. So with that, we're going to go ahead and dive into tonight's session. So as is tradition here on Roll with Advantage, I, the DM, do not do the summary. Instead, I have the players do the summary. This week on summary is Felicity. So Felicity, whenever you're ready,
Yay.
take it away.
All right. Yes. So picking up the fight where we left off from chapter 16. Bianca runs through the tower deeper, running through blood, demons, and jumping over a cavern until she reaches an icy wasteland, which is where she stops to fight Isin, who appears as Rolius at first, and the battle begins. The party above the tower, outside of it, works together to take out the Bansheen, but then as they try to gain their composure on what to do next, Jessica, who is now evilish, and now shows up and begins to fight them. Bianca and Isin fight, and during the fight, wow, I could really pick needed Grammarly or something here. And during the fight, Valkyrie's sisters show up to help Bianca, and she grows angelic-like wings, and she can see as she flies up demons reaching out below her, trying to consume her. As she and the Valkyrie fight Isin, a fleshy being of Isin starts to reveal itself, and the shadow kind of breaks away. Bianca also uses Isin's own blood against him to kind of bind him and hold him back. During the fight with Jessica, she turns Ajax into a feral state, and he attacks Carasilla, knocking her unconscious and almost killing her. Jessica also downs Cecily, leaving Suni to duel her. After he wins the duel, he runs to interpose himself between Carasilla and Ajax snaps out of his charm. Jessica, afraid of Ajax, time shifts him to the past where he sees his dead love interest, reliving that trauma. Bianca is able to deal a large blow to Isin, and his husk form is fully revealed. Isin deals one last hit to her, knocking her unconscious, but through the grace of the Raven Queen, she is brought up to 1 hit point, but the Valkyrie can no longer stand with her. She now looks to the souls trapped here by Isin to help her finish this. With an army of souls, she carves into Isin's heart, reaching in to capture his soul. Suni does stabilize Carasilla, but gets one last hit on Jessica. She does get away, though, leaving Ajax, Suni, and Carasilla and Cecily barely alive. Bianca loses an eye, and a blue flame replaces it, giving her the Valkyrie Vision of the Valkyries, VV. She thanks the past souls by helping them pass on and finally rest in peace. As the... I don't know what I was trying to say there. She weakly returns to the rest of the party, now with Isin's stain revealed, revealed her more half-drowned nature paired with the infernal traits. As they meet up, the players become aware that there are 7,000 casualties total during the siege. So we're kind of left feeling like half victorious, half like losing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. A very Pyrrhic victory. A victory that was just barely scraped by. Before we zoom in on the party members, on what would be the second day post the battle, because the first day, in all honesty, is just It is sleep. It is clerics looking after you, healing the wounds you suffered, so you can at least on your second day have some movement and some normalcy return to your life. Before we go there, the first thing I want to do is I want to zoom in on a different part of the city. In the southwest corner of Periton, as the sun eventually begins to rise on the next day, all of you can see, all of the players, the audience, you can see a man. Half elven, there's a slight point to his ears. He has a little bit of scruff around his chin and on his face. A man who hasn't yet had the chance to shave in quite some time. Longer hair that is matted with blood and dirt in different places. A helmet sort of resting in his side, wearing the armor of the Loyalists. He's a very well-armored man. You can see him going from door to door. You see him knock on one door, and you can see this frail old woman opens up the door, and you can see there are arrows that are just pelted into the side of her house. And he says, "Excuse me, I'm very sorry to bother you, but I was just hoping. Have you seen a woman about my age? Long raven hair, human woman. The last time I saw her, she would have been wearing a burgundy dress. That would have been a little boy with her, maybe 12, 13 years old." You can see the old woman kind of think for a moment and shake her head and say, "I'm very sorry, I have seen no one like that." And you can see the soldier, he shakes his head. "Thank you. Is there anything you need?" The old woman shakes her head no and slowly closes her door. Sorry. And you can see the man continue to walk down the street. Another Loyalist soldier approaches and speaks to the man and says, "Eton, have you found them yet?" And you can see the man, Aton. "Sadly, Boris, I have not seen them yet. I've kept looking, but I haven't seen them anywhere." "Well, Aton, you need to get some rest, all right? Listen, you go, at least sleep for a little bit, and I'll continue looking for them, all right?" I can't, Aton. I have to keep looking. I can't." And you see him kind of sigh, and you can see the man who stopped him, Boris, tries to stop Aton before he's able to go, but Aton just kind of brushes past him and continues searching throughout the city for these missing people. As we fade away from Aton and his search, we cut back to the rest of the party. And we're going to go ahead and start with... let's start with Ajax. So Ajax, on the second morning, the first day had been entirely dedicated to rest, bandaging any wounds you had, healing any sustained damage by the clerics and priests that were available for all of you for your services. When Ajax awakes on the first morning that he can think about something other than how much pain he's in, what is Ajax currently thinking about right now?
Oh, man. I think that Ajax is thinking... I feel like his thoughts are almost just empty. Like, he wakes up and he doesn't feel like himself. His thoughts are probably sporadic, some coming in and out. Reliving. Well, I guess most of them would be him standing over Carasilla and biting her. And that one kind of is probably running through his mind a lot. And then being sent back to see Amelia.
Mm-hmm.
But other than those moments that kind of play back in his mind, it's kind of void. It's kind of just at this point autopilot. You probably, until he gets in front of somebody behind the scenes, he's like a drone.
Okay.
He's currently right now just nothing.
Okay. Cecily, as you wake up on that second morning, what's currently going through her head?
She, getting so close to death again, she's gonna, like, slowly blink her eyes open and then sit up very quickly and just kind of look around at the room, not believing for the first few seconds that she's actually still in her body and on the material plane. And then there's a very big sigh of relief, takes out her locket and holds it close to her chest, and just kind of mumbles to the air, "I made it again, Mom. Still here." And hardly a moment goes by when she cherishes that moment for just a second, and she immediately thinks about Bianca, who might be in the exact same situation right now, and kind of the blurry memory that she has of seeing her walk out of there.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of the first objective in her head, as soon as she starts getting all of her thoughts together, is that she doesn't know what words she's going to use, and she doesn't know if anything she does is actually going to help, but there's sort of this immediate, deep understanding that she has with Bianca, and she wants to find her this morning and just at least be in the same room.
Okay. So, waking up with purpose in the morning, you begin to ready yourself for heading back out to find her, to give her that comfort. Before we get there, though, Suni, as you wake up in the morning, what's going through your head?
I think the thing that is weighing most heavily, and he has trouble during initially, kind of having, I don't know, push through being alive so many. But when he finally does get up, will immediately go try to do the right thing. Look out for people. Specifically, what I think he wants to do, spend the nature thing, city, kind of meditate on that, but also, okay, give me a sec, guys. I'm sorry.
It's like I can hear you, you're just really quiet.
Okay, so Suni begins to head to do that, to help those people in whatever way that he can. But before we get there, Carasilla, as you wake up, what is the first thing that's on your mind?
I mean, I feel like akin to everyone else, it's still a lot of silence. was a shit ass day, obviously, yesterday, with everything that happened. And I think, there's obviously that sadness and pain, obviously, of everything that happened, but I think there's also, not like a gladness to it, but like a relief that at least they were there, that at least they were able to do something. And, just with everything that happened, lamenting the fact that, Morn hasn't been there. I feel like this is the first really big thing that, they've not been at each other's side for. And, how things would have been different had she been there, more could have been done. But I think after kind of being in her own thoughts for a little bit, her plan would be to try and get out, see if there is anything that she can help with around the place, between the light work that mending can do, but also being able to use sending for anyone that needs it, even healing for anyone that has lingering wounds, anything like that. I think just that mentality of just needing to keep going, she'd want to help out and do what she can for those that need it.
Okay. So we'll get to that in just a second as you begin to stir, gather your things, ready to head out. Bianca, as she wakes up on the second morning, what's going through her head?
So I did want to ask, with the vision of the Valkyries, is it like, what is that? Is she like constantly seeing spirits and people now, or is it something she can turn on and off?
It's still the same effect as the lantern, but now instead of sort of when you hold the lantern up and you cast that spell through the lantern, pretty much both your eyes light up in flame, as opposed to just seeing them normally. For what it's worth, you can't see anything out of that flaming eye.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, because I figured there's something she needs to adjust to. So yeah, definitely like probably still not used to having one eye. And I know she's had a lot on her mind besides just Keothi's death and her mother's. But she's also been thinking about each one of the party members and the gravity of everything. But also she knows that we need to address the town. Not just like, oh, here's how we're going to fix this, but just like, how are we going to like move forward? And she's definitely thinking about like her dad as well. And, glad he's I assume he was okay. We didn't hear that he wasn't. So wanting to, okay, as in alive, obviously, but make sure, basically she feels like she's got a lot of people that she really wants to check in on. And I don't think she's fully processed how she even feels about it. She's almost like in order to process everything, she's putting her desire to help these people before her processing, if that makes sense. And I definitely think she would check to make sure that her lantern with Issen's soul is like still there. Like she probably has that like grasped, almost like she fell asleep clutching it still.
Yeah, of course. And you do. The lantern still glows, and instead of having that teal flame that is typically in there, you can see that is this roiling deep green flame that is now held within that lantern. You can tell that there is a great evil that exists within it. But held by the magic of the Valkyries. So, as all of you awake, all of you having different ideas about what you would like to do for the day, as all of you go to leave your rooms, ready to finally get back out there to do something, to start helping again, in a strange twist of fate, all of you reach for your handle, the handle of your door, and open it. As all 5 of you open into the same room, right around the same time. You can see that you're currently in a large, incredibly well-decorated, domed interior. You can see there is this very simple mosaic on that dome with these glass panes that let sunlight into the area. You can see there are 7 rooms spread throughout that come into this massive foyer, and in that foyer there is a large table with 10 chairs around it. And you can see there are already 2 individuals sitting at this table. You can see the Swordmaster, and you can also see Victor, the head of the Loyalists within the city of Periton. You can see the 2 of them talking, shuffling papers between each other, having a brief conversation as all 5 of you open your door at the same time, stepping out into this meeting room that all of your rooms are connected to. And you can see the Swordmaster and Victor look up, both with smiles on their faces, seeing all of you awake and come in. You can see Victor, the half-orc man. Go ahead and just for a reminder as to... Oh, that's why that's not working. Okay, sorry. There you go. All right, Kovton, Victor Kovton. Show you here. There's a reminder for Victor. Yeah, like I said, you had there are 7 doors that lead into this room, and 5 of those doors, apparently the rooms you're staying in, are connected here. As you enter in, you can see Victor smile, as well as the Swordmaster, and say, "Well, I'm very glad to see all of you stir and standing on your own 2 feet. I hope that it is not too much of a bother. I figured when you first woke up, that it would be nice to sleep in a nice bed after a long while sitting in the temples of the city that still stand. And please, I understand all of you just woke, and it has been a hard several days, but after everything you've done, speaking with the other gold hoarders, speaking with the other the other loyalists, we've determined we'd like to offer this building, where we would typically have our meetings, on what was best to do for trade routes and the such, to all of you, to the future queen of Balaclara, to at least begin the planning phases of what you'd like to do in Periton and what you would like to do with the rest of Balaclara. There are several maps already here of the region, and myself and the Swordmaster here have been going over possible next steps, but all of you are tired, and I'm sure all of you have other things you would like to do. I just wanted all of you to be aware of this room, its purpose, and something we should do sooner rather than later. People have been fleeing the city, not in droves, but heading to Richka or to Vesna, or even to Meister, hoping to spread word of your great deeds and what you've done here. The return of the Queen, they say. But I recommend before any of you do anything else, you at least eat breakfast. And you can see there are a couple of servants who come over and clean the tables off, any of the parchments and maps, roll them up and set them off on a couple of bookshelves off to the side. And there are small platters of food that are brought out, sort of buffet style, that are set on the table as settings are put down for all of you as well. And Victor looks and smiles and says, "Well, I will leave you to your breakfast. Should you need anything from me, I will be at the bank, the same place where," looking towards Carousel and Bianca, "where we first met." And he'll give a small bow with his head, and he'll turn, and provided nobody stops him, he will just leave. The Swordmaster will do a similar thing, except this is addressed directly to Bianca, as he says, "My queen, is there anything you would have me do on this morning?"
There's nothing in particular that comes to mind. I guess if you know where my father is, and maybe where my mother's being kept, just so I know.
Yes. There are several temples still left standing in the city. On the northeast corner, your father has been praying ever since the fighting stopped. Your mother is currently within the temple, underneath the building. The priestesses there are going through the necessary steps to make sure that neither her nor Keothi, their bodies decompose, just in case something can be done.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
But no, just take care of yourself. We will all be in contact with you. And she'll just kind of give like a soft nod.
Very well, my queen. And he'll bow and nod his head, and he'll exit out of the room as well, leaving the five of you alone. As you can see, there is a hot breakfast that is prepared for you, and you all have the room to yourselves.
Should we? I was gonna say, should we hit the long rest button?
Yeah, at this point, you can hit the long rest button.
We've earned it now.
You have. In diddly riddly. Oh, there we go. All right.
I was gonna ask, hello, Short King.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask,
It made my hit points 54.
oh, that's wrong.
Yeah. I thought
That's
I had
not-
like 102.
Oof. It maybe reset your hit point maximum, which is strange.
Yeah, if you have an override, then it'll always do that unless you untick that.
How do I do that?
Well, you'll have to go back in and edit it again since it reset.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
I'll
you-
just... All right, ignore me. I'll
Yeah,
fix
you
this. I
got
just
it.
was like, I don't know what's happening.
What I was gonna ask is, how much food is here? Is it just like enough for the five, or is it very generous?
No. If anything, it's also a light breakfast. It seems as though, not for lack of gold, but just for lack of food. It is a very modest, very humble amount of food in front of you, considering the decadence of the halls you're staying in. So not a lot. Definitely not enough to gorge yourself if you want everybody else to be able to eat.
Yeah, I mean, she's more thinking about the undoubted thousands of familyless people, but she's gonna, she'll take like a single crust of whatever loaf is there and just like a pretty small, recognizing that she's needs the least sustenance of everyone here. Gonna get herself a little tiny thing. She'll be pretty quiet and contemplative for the most part.
Yeah. Ajax will, I guess, wait for everyone to sit down and then sit down, and then he's going to be eating, but not a lot. Like, there's a certain point in the meal, like he's probably eaten like less than half of his food. At a certain point, he's kind of just picking at it, and he's not making eye contact with anybody, and he is also not talking.
I would ask how everyone's mornings have been going, but I think we all know. I think it's important to remember, though. There are still so many people out there, people at this table included, that are still here because of what happened yesterday. Many were taken, yes, but many were also saved. I think we all need to take our time now. Allow us to recover. Beyond just the physical, of course. But what happened yesterday, as hard and as terrible as it was, what we've all done, what everyone in this town has done, was ultimately the good and right thing. I think we do well to remember that.
I agree, Carasola. And I'm sure this speaks for all of us having just lost Keothi, but also as well losing my mother. I don't feel like continuing, but I would hate to let not just their lives, but everyone's lives who were lost to this cause go almost, I guess, to waste is the only wording I can think of. They fought, and I think it would be a shame if we all just let the fact that we have to live instead of them wear us down. And I know that's a lot easier said than done. I don't feel confident or energized, but for me, that's what's gonna be my mindset to get me through. I don't know if that's helpful for you guys as well. And maybe it's too soon, and that's okay.
Cecily, without saying much, she's going to slowly kind of stand up and scoot in her chair and ask everybody, has anyone seen it out there yet?
No.
Not yet, no.
And she'll just give a bit of a nod, and she'll head off. Somebody can follow if they would like. She's just gonna head to the door and slowly creak it open, and she just wants to see with her own eyes the numbers that they've heard. Just so she's a sensing person, not an intuition person. So she to go look at it.
I think Ajax, at that cue, would kind of get up. He's going to take his plate with him. And as he kind of passes by Bianca, he just slowly puts a hand on her shoulder as he walks past. And he's going to follow Cecily out.
Okay. So, the two of you head out into the city of Puritan post siege. And you can see that there is still smoke that billows from parts of the city from the destruction and the fires. The rain that falls on this day is helping considerably, but you can see there is a gloom that looms over the rest of the city. As you see something very similar to that stepping out. It is a dark day. It is a gloomy day. And you can see people wandering throughout the streets, carried on stretchers, piles of rubble being loaded into carts, moved away, bodies being found, and the death toll continuing to rise as more people are found. You can see that it'll probably take a week or two to get to a point where a death toll and damage toll is accurate. But as of right now, on day 2, the rough estimate is about 5,000 lives lost. But that's not an official count. So that number could go up or down, but you can see the looks on the people's faces and the bodies that are being lined up for identification. It doesn't seem likely that that number will go down.
Is there like a general population count of what this city was?
Yes. So there were, let's see.
I remember you saying 15,000, that is?
That was just people who were fighting.
Oh, right. Okay.
So if I recall correctly, there were 25,000 people in Periton.
You're right. I think you're right. Yeah.
And 14,000 of those people were fighters. They were combatants.
When we both get outside, can Ajax see any of the townsfolk that maybe have children that look like they're in distress or maybe look hungry or anything like that?
Mm-hmm. Make a perception check.
Okay. Oh, fuck, I have high wisdom. What the okay. So 7 plus 6. What is that? 13?
13? Yeah.
Yep.
So with 13, one of the things that you can see is while many of the residential buildings have been destroyed in one way, shape, or form, you can see that there are large buildings like inns, taverns, meeting houses that have been retrofitted for people who have been displaced. There's not really any children that are out and about, just kind of on the street. And it seems as though at this point, anybody whose home was destroyed, they found a new place in some of these meeting homes. So you and Cecily just sort of walking along for maybe a couple of minutes, you would be able to see, you'd be able to hear, first and foremost, what sounds like a large cacophony of noises coming from the inside of a tavern. Not happy, joyful noises that are typically coming from buildings like those, but ones of people shouting out for names, asking if anybody has seen this person. And you can see several people in there that are families with children that seem to be all put together, that they've found all their pieces. But yeah, it's definitely rough. So you do spot a couple of children maybe lingering outside of that area who do look a little bit more disturbed as they yeah, you can see 2 kids, 2 Genasi kids, who both water Genasis, currently sitting outside in the rain, just looking up and down the streets. And you can probably tell what they're searching for when they're looking.
Ajax will just look to Cecily and just say, I'll be right back. Or I'll catch up with you if you had some other business.
I'll be right here. And she'll kind of give a nod as if, like, she can handle this too. So she'll be around.
Yeah, Ajax will walk up to the children and I'll also say you probably picked up another plate that was empty to put it over top of this plate so that it's not getting rained on.
Yeah, of course.
Well, I'll get
Some
rain bubble.
soggy food.
Oh, you got
You're
rain
in
bubble. Are you
yeah,
walking
you're in
over with me?
Cecily's. Yeah, I mean it's 100 feet wide anyway, 20 or
Oh,
something.
dope.
I don't know, whatever.
Well, he
I'll
still
put
has
you in the rain
the plate over it
Mhm.
initially, but that just helps it even more. Ajax will walk over and kind of kneel down and say, "Hello, my name is Ajax. What are your names?"
You can see the immediately the girl kind of shrinks a little bit as the boy looks up to you and says, "My name is Ivan, and this is my sister Sarah."
Well, Ivan, Sarah, are you hungry? I have food here.
And you can see the two of them kind of look at each other, and their eyes kind of both go wide as they look back to you and nod.
He presents the food to them, and then hands it over and says, "Do you need help getting somewhere? Are you looking for someone?"
Well, we're looking for our parents. When everything started to happen, it was my dad said to run to the Grey Lion, which you can see the sign hanging from up above at the Grey Lion Tavern. He said to go here first and to wait, and that whenever he could, him and our mom would come here. But they haven't shown up yet.
I see. Well, don't give up hope. They're probably on their way still. There's a lot of rerouting in the city. You two are so very brave. And you made it here. You should be proud of that. You and your sister are safe. You should go into the tavern, get some rest, eat the food, and try to stay warm and dry. I'm sure your parents will be here soon. I'll go look for them. Do you have a description?
Our mother, she is, she's human. She's pale skin, long golden hair. Our father looks like us. Blue skin, white hair.
Don't worry. I'll go looking for them. You go inside, get some rest, eat food.
Okay.
All right?
Okay. And you can see they both kind of nod.
Cecily she'll kind of wait a second and say, "Hey, kid." She'll kneel down, and probably at least half of them were lost in the battle and over the past couple days, but she'll pluck one of the still living Cecily flowers off of her sleeve and just hand it to him. Good luck, Charm. You'll find him. You will.
See, they both kind of, the young boy, he kind of grabs it and takes it and he'll kind of break off a smaller piece and hand it to his sisters. Now both of them have one. And you can see they both sort of nod and smile. A little bit of hope with them now as they head into the tavern.
Cecily she'll share a glance with Ajax and then kind of look at the ground, and you can see the like heaviness sort of sinking over her. There's got to be a lot more like them.
Yeah.
You go find their parents. I'm gonna see if I can find more kids. Keep them company.
You sure you don't want me to go with you?
It's okay. You seem better at tracking things down than me.
We'll see.
And I just feel like I have to do something. This is about all I can.
Cecily, as you're like walking away. You've done so much. Remember that.
I know. But there's always going to be one more me out there. And she'll sigh, and yeah, she's going to spend all the time can. Anytime she finds younger people who look separated and confused and alone, hungry, cold, anything, talk to them, keep them company,
Okay.
give them a little Cecily, and just be present. And she won't say out loud to any of them that she's been here before and she knows what it's like or anything like that, but she'll just try to be present, and she'll try to invoke these sort of like always gentle, always kind energy that her adoptive mother had.
Mm-hmm.
And she will give them all little Cecilies until she has a single one left, and she's that for later.
Okay. Yeah, and you do just that, spending almost all of your day at that. And you can tell that by any of the individuals, any of the children you encounter, they're all very thankful to have somebody to talk to and give them that small burst of hope. And the only thing you take away is after giving so much hope, you begin to hope that they do find their parents, that they do find their loved ones, and that they don't get their hearts broken again. So, Cecily, you do provide comfort to these children, these people, these individuals who probably, for the most part, would be ignored if it wasn't for you. So, as Cecily is doing that, Ajax, what did you want to do anything else specifically, or just go out and help lift
Ajax
rubble?
is just, he's just walking through the city, and whoever looks like they need someone who's strong, he'll go over and help. Keeping an eye out for those kids' parents, obviously. But yeah, he's just trying to do whatever he can to help strength-wise.
Yeah, of course.
I'll be right back.
Oh, you're fine. Alrighty. So Ajax does end up running into Ainwin and the Dragonborn, Kaladon. There we go. As two of the Crown Keepers, they end up enlisting your help, just to kind of help move things out of the way, move rubble, and help try and excavate some of these buildings. And Ajax, there is a couple of rough spots where you are sort of digging out bodies that were crushed by the rubble. But it's a hard job and somebody has to do it. So that is what Ajax is up to on that first day. Jumping back to the meeting room, Bianca, Carasilla, I know Suni, you had mentioned how you wanted to go out specifically to the nature side and make sure that where the grove or the arboreal exiles wanted to make sure their side of everything was still okay.
Yeah, and then I have yeah, and I have a couple of things like plant growth or whatever that spell is called. Just if there's any need.
Yeah,
help with that.
for sure. And I'm sure that you would, along your journey over there, you would run into Patel, the human individual who was the leader of the arboreal exiles in the city, who would gladly welcome the help, especially from such an esteemed paladin such as yourself.
Yeah, and then I also have all of my healing stuff, so if they're in dire need on the way, I would have time stop and sit with them and pray with them and heal them and do it.
Of course. Yeah. And anytime you do stop to heal somebody, you can tell that it is, they're incredibly thankful. But sadly, Suni, one of the things that you see is, at least for the couple of people that you heal, it seems that due to the wounds they sustained during the fighting, the magic is providing them comfort. As some of these people, just the wounds, whether it be because they were from cursed weapons or those cursed, like vile creatures that were destroying buildings with their finger, some of these wounds aren't healing, but you at least provide them a comfortable passing, which is better than what they would have had otherwise. Some people you do heal and save, but others it's just to be a comforting voice and a soft hand to hold. So you and Patel make your way, and you head to the grove within the city, and you can see that some of it is singed and burned, but luckily with your help over the next several days casting plant growth, you can see it as having a positive effect, causing flowers to bloom, patches of grass to regrow, and new flowers to bloom.
Also, whenever this is applicable, I also have create food and water, so I'd like to be pumping out as much food, clean food and water to people when they need it.
Yeah, the granaries are actually within the Arboreal Exiles domain, so you're really close, actually. So in between restoring the nature of the grove, anytime when lunch and dinner comes and people are coming to collect their rations for the time being, that is what you're there for. It's also worth noting that on Periton, the bridge that connects the two halves of the city is destroyed. So boats are needed to ferry across the river, and they make those stops quite frequently. So that means half the food is taken from the Arboreal Exiles granary, and it's put over on the other half of the city within the domain of the Loyalists, and the food is divvied out there. But, Suni, thanks to your help, people, whenever you are helping, whether it be lunch or dinner or on what day, people are getting a little bit of extra food and a little bit of extra water thanks to you.
Cool.
Oh. Podcast voice who? Alrighty. So, that is what Suni was doing. So with that, we'll cut back to the interior, the meeting room, Bianca and Carasilla. The two of you sit there alone unless you also wish to head out and go do something.
Bianca actually, given that everyone else went out, I'm sure Carasilla wanted to head out as well, but Bianca, seeing that she might be the last one, will be like, could you sit with me for a moment?
Of course. I was gonna ask what your plans for the day are anyways. I'm sure part of your list is seeing your dad and mom again.
Well, it's a piece of it, definitely, but I'm gonna try to not be too selfish with that time. I actually would like to talk to all of you about a bunch of different things, but with you, and I'm so sorry if this is hard for you to look back on, but given that you were so high ranking, still are high ranking in the Children of the Flame and the gift you have over people, how do you, in these bleakest moments, keep morale? I mean, even just Delner's Pass, like, that's the biggest one I can think of that I know you and Morwen were a part of, but I have no experience in any of this, and I know you do. And I really need your help to be not just a good leader, but just make a place that these people want to be in, these people feel passionate about, can feel joy and be proud of. Because I know your men were proud. Just by the way that you and Morwen talked about them and name their names and say memories with them. How do you do that?
I think the simple answer is that you have to. I don't think there's much other choice in the matter. You either keep going or you're just back there. I mean, it's been the same with Delna's Pass, especially. Everyone there's no longer with us. Everyone besides Morn and I. And so if we were to stop, if we were to let ourselves just be trapped in that moment, then that means no one made it out. We need to keep going because we're afforded that opportunity. And I think we owe it to everyone that were lost there or were lost here as well to keep going. Because if we wish that they were still here, if we wish that they could have continued on, then I think it's pretty safe to say that they are glad that we are.
When I do plan to address the town, because how could you not after such a casualty? But do you think those words will be enough? What would you do if you and Morwen weren't the only survivors of Delner's Pass, and you guys had to keep your men fighting, wanting to keep going after losing so much? I just need some guidance on how to even address that.
This is all that you have. I think, especially in the case of Periton, there's been so much division, so much ill will, I feel like, between people. But after what's happened, we've already seen that the factions have started moving together. I think it's important to remind people that they still have each other. For the longest time, they've seen each other as in opposition. Quite literally divvied up the city between themselves. I think, if anything, it's best to remind them of the lesson that there is no real need for such division between each other. That it was through each other's strengths that the city was able to continue as it has, and the virtues of that. That the lessons shouldn't be forgotten. And again, you move forward because the days will still keep coming. You can't pause in that history. Can't keep reliving the same days, because that's not how that works. Time will keep coming. But you have to keep living it. It's not gonna fix things, of course. Never does. But I think there's also kind of, beauty feels like the wrong word, but it's the only one I have. Things like this, they have such an opportunity to bring people together. Allow for more good to come from them. And I think it's worth reminding people of that. That there is still hope. As long as they have each other. As long as we have each other. The city will rebuild. It will take time, but it will. New people will come in, new people will be born. There'll be new things for the city to care about, to be excited, to mourn over. Well, that will come. Nothing's stopped because of what happened. And so we can't either.
You can see that she's been nodding and like taking in your words very seriously and heeding them. But then after you do a while of helping her out, she's gonna take your hand and say, "How are you?" That wasn't easy for any of us, but we all went through something unique. Are you okay?
I will be. Think through it all, I'm just glad that we were here. Glad that you were able to deal with this as you apparently have. And I'm glad that there's still people in this town.
Did you get a chance? Sorry.
I think it's worth to stay thankful for those kinds of things.
No, I agree. I think I really strongly agree with your mentality that keeping or continuing to linger on what could have been or what we could have done or why didn't we? It's wasted energy. Have you been able to talk with Morwen yesterday, maybe? I don't know how exhausted you were. I mean, I do know how exhausted you were, but I don't know if you had the strength.
I haven't yet, but she'll be right. I think there's people that need such magic more than I do right now.
Don't forget to take care of yourself as well. You give a lot. And I gotta say, I'm incredibly thankful because I feel like I'm the person that takes a lot. But it's okay to give yourself the rest and the care you need, not just physically, but emotionally.
Well, hopefully we'll have a good few more days before we're all on the brink of death again, so I'm sure we'll get that.
Hopefully. And I do have a very important question that I want to propose to you. Especially now that we're going to be not just rebuilding Periton, but moving on to Vesna and all the way to the keep. It's really, really cool that everyone keeps leaning on the queen, but it also really, really isn't. And I would really love a Grand Vizier. However, I wasn't sure if that's a position you would necessarily be interested in. You also seem like a person who would be interested in being a lore keeper, but I have to admit, I would really like you to consider being the Grand Vizier for me. I feel like, I don't know if you've noticed, but you have a lot of the skills that I envy right now. And I would like to formally give you a position where we have a actual exchange in power.
Listen, I appreciate your words. I do, but I think it'd be best to talk about such things later.
You don't have to make a decision. I just wanted you to know that I'm serious about that offer and just consider it. Please.
No. I'll consider it, but right now I think my focus will just be on Periton.
Absolutely.
Do you want to perhaps come with me? I was planning on going around seeing who needs help and getting it out there.
Yes, definitely. I will probably stop by the temple once we pass by there. But I'll take my time getting there with you.
Of course. And I'll be here for you when you do go.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll head out. And I'll say Carasel's focus specifically is obviously there's gonna be a lot of people like walking around calling names, like going through shit. She wants to try and obviously help those people, but keep a special eye for people that seem to be more just dejected, that don't have the energy to look for those kinds of people, and just, help them out, especially. She's got sending, she can do cure wounds, like, she's gonna just try and help reconnect people.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead and make a investigation check.
Was it 19 plus? Where's my sheet? That's a 26.
26. Okay. Yeah, you do find several groups of people that seem to be sort of dejected families, like families of, 5 or 6 people that have been split up. So you see like groups of 3 here and there where they can't find the other half. They were divided and they've kind of given up hope. And as you find these small groups, using a combination of sending and healing any wounds and maybe even a calm emotions here and there just to get them to sort of walk off a proverbial edge, you do create a bridge between these different groups. And of the people you reach out to, we'll say of the maybe 4 groups that you run into in your time searching for people, 3 of them you are able to reunite with their counterparts. However, on the 4th and final one, as you use sending on 2 different people, the sending is sent. You know the spell was cast successfully, but there was no response. And you now stand in front of a father and his daughter looking for their mother and his son, as they kind of look to you with these bleary eyes, hoping to receive an answer as to why the message wasn't responded to.
I mean, so wait, so it went through suggesting that they are alive, though?
No. You cast the
okay.
spell successfully, but it was not received, and there was no response.
Okay. I see. She will just kind of, after that realization, just bow her head and just place a hand on the person's shoulder. I'm sorry. Wasn't able to reach through.
You can see the 2 of them kind of look to each other. The daughter, maybe 15 or 16 years old, like the same age as Cecily, sort of just grabs at her dad and just hugs him as he kind of wraps his arm around her and sort of grips her tightly. He looks to you and nods and says, "Thank you for trying."
Is there anything else I can help you with? Any others, friends, anything I can help you find?
No, you and your companions have done enough. And I mean that genuinely, thank you.
And you can see the dad just trying to be strong as he sort of looks to his daughter and says,
All right, well, let's go find somewhere warm out of the rain, all right? Can't do anything on an empty stomach, okay?
and the daughter just continues to grip him tight as the father just looks to you and nods solemnly as the 2 of them head off in the direction of one of the boarding houses to hopefully find some food and rest for the day. But at least they're no longer out in the rain.
Yeah, she'll kind of linger in that moment a little bit, but just continue on. There's more people out there, so.
Okay. And you do just that. You continue out into the city. Getting this far into the day, your magic reserves are pretty tapped, so most of anything else you're going to do is going to be related, or is going to be using your natural charisma and your ability to talk to people. But it is definitely a very useful skill. Because you can see that. Do you have the Gleeman cloak on right now?
Yeah, I should be wearing it.
Okay. You can see people sort of, they're more trusting to you, especially these people. There's even one old man that you encounter who you can see him trying to, move like these large pieces of rubble off of his house that had collapsed in on itself. The guy's, like 85 years old as a human. So, he's just like in the rain trying to move rocks. And he's like, oh, and he looks up and he sees you and he, wait a minute. Is that him? Oh, yeah. My goodness. I didn't think to see a Gleeman in this. Wait a minute. You're one of them, one of the Queen's companions, ain't you? And he kind of like slowly gets down off the rubble. It takes him quite a bit to safely get down. He's got a cane in his hand. He walks over to you. Right?
Yes.
Oh.
You all right there?
Yeah, I'm fine. Didn't expect to see a Gleeman. Tell me, is this going to be one of your stories?
Perhaps.
Hey, well, all right. Well, if it does, just remember, I was into fighting. Yes, I was. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm sure of it. Seems quite the sturdy cane.
Oh, well, I walloped me a good demon or two. Obviously, it didn't do much luck, and he kind of pokes the remains of his house. But,
Well, evidently did enough.
yeah, I guess they got the idea, didn't they? Oh. Well, what was your name again?
Karasilodolski.
Karasilodolski. Karasilodolski. The Gleeman. Got a good ring to it.
Well, thank you. Is there anything I can do to help you?
Kind of looks you up and down. You want to move that rock there?
Well, must admit I'm not the strongest, but I could certainly try. And I mean, if this old man's been doing it, she'll help him pitch it. Like,
All right, we got it together. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
So you go over to the rock, and you sort of have to rock back and forth, and eventually you're able to move it as it sort of rolls off the pile of rubble. Yep, there it is. And you see him reach down and pull out what looks to be a small box, metal container, square, and you can see that the lid is what looks to be sealed shut.
something special you were looking for then?
Yeah, you can say that. See, before my hands got, you see, you kind of raise them. They're a little shaky, very frail. Before my hands got too bad, I was a metal worker. I'd make strong boxes, jewelry boxes, things like that. It was one of Nadia's favorite things about me, and so when she passed, he kind of taps the what you now assume to be an urn. But this world hasn't seen the end of Nadia and I yet. I figured there's still some people out there that might need our help, so now that I got her, we can head out. We can do some good. Isn't that right? He kind of looks down to the box.
You're a good man.
Thank you. Karasilla, Dulski, the Gleeman. Very much appreciated.
Hope you find more light in your days. Both of you.
Looks like, hear that, Nadia? That's from a gleeman, nonetheless. And he'll kind of nod and smile at you. And with that, he'll begin to walk away looking for other people to help now that he got his thing.
What a legend.
You can make him a legend or a fable.
A fable!
Prized Australian.
Can you say Mojo Jojo?
Yeah, come on, say it.
So anyway, I wish to
My
formally
Jojo.
leave this
No.
campaign. This is my retire. I'm never going to speak to any of y'all again. Farewell.
I,
That's really
it cannot
hard.
be.
Which is the charismatic one.
It can't be as bad as the Noe's JoJo. There's no way. That had to have been. I'm sure you'll do fine.
That's okay. Okay.
I tried.
Alrighty. So,
Damn, she
Carousel.
actually left.
Oh, damn, did she?
Fucking muted. Damn.
That's crazy. So, Carousel, you walk away from your encounter with Yuri and Nadia. And you begin to find other people to help. So, with that, we'll go ahead and cut to Bianca. As Carousel is headed out into the world, Bianca, we now come to you.
Yeah. She probably would have helped Carasilla at the beginning when they first went out together, but like she said, she was going to then stop at the temple where her mom and dad are, once it kind of made it around there.
Yeah, of course. So you head to the northeast corner of the city, in the Crown Keeper's area. As you enter into the temple, the sounds of rain fades away, and the sound of crackling fireplaces begins to fill. As you can also hear the sounds of individuals talking. Not too many. It's still a temple, so there's still a fair bit of reverence to it. But you can see that the temple has also become somewhat of a boarding house, just for people that don't have a home or a place to go right now. And you can see, kneeling in front of a shrine to Paylor, actually, as opposed to the Raven Queen, you can see your father kneeling, praying.
Yeah, she'll go over to him and take a spot next to him. She doesn't pray to Paylor, so she probably won't be like kneeling in prayer, but just like sitting next to him and just say, "Is it okay if I interrupt?"
And his eyes will open slowly and look over to you. And he'll smile just a little bit and say,
It's never interrupting when it's you. I'm happy you're here.
Yeah, she'll do a little soft smile and then say, "I still could see you just fine, just if you were wondering." Sorry, I don't know how to. I know how to be serious. I don't know how to deal with sadness, though. I just wanted to talk to you about everything, but how are you doing? I know it's only been like one whole day, but I haven't been able to check in.
It's not nearly as painful. It still hurts. It's more of, there are moments where I forget. And then the pain comes back. I feel like I can't catch my breath. A part of me's gone. So he just kind of trails
Sorry.
off. No, you're fine.
You and Mom. I don't know what true love is unless that was it. I know so many people, even having parents, didn't have that in their home. I was very lucky. And it's really weird thinking about only one of you being able to be around for now on. I don't know if it's my new connection to the Raven Queen, but somehow I don't feel like she's gone. I just wish we had more time. I wish I didn't go live in Summer's Rest for so long. I could have just stayed home. Had a little bit more time with both of you.
And you see him kind of nod for a moment and look at you and say, "It is." The love that we have for her and the love she had for us, it doesn't diminish, it doesn't go away. I know your mother very well, and I can guarantee you, even though she's not with us anymore, the moment that you try and make her shepherd's pie recipe incorrectly, I'm sure that she will be right there to tell you how you're doing it wrong. She's still with us. She is. You can't dwell on the past, Bianca.
I know. And you can't either. And I know we're both gonna do it.
You know,
I do wish I took a little bit more after her, though, so that maybe when people look at me, they can see more of her.
And he takes a long look at you. And he says, "Oh, Bianca, if you only knew. You're more like her than you know." I had a conversation with one of your companions, Keothi, before everything. And she told me about a certain event that happened at Old Spire Outpost. The horses. You are your mother's child. That's for sure. I myself, personally, I don't think that I could ever do something like that. But your mom, practical. To a fault. I am sorry, also, that you lost your friend.
Me too. I'm in a more practical way. I know that not only was she just a friend to me, but for you, she was the hope of bringing back Mom. But now we have neither. Kyothi was so giving of everything up until the end, always. But in another way, I see that you're praying to Palor, which I find very curious, but it doesn't matter. But the more I've grown with the Raven Queen, unfortunately, balance and the cycle of life is very important, unfortunately. And I was feeling very conflicted about choosing who gets to live and who gets to die. There's so many people in our shoes here in Periton, losing mothers, daughters, fathers, sons, everyone that they love. Children who are just like my friend Cecily now. Even my friend Cecily, who has lost, I think, like 3 mothers. I hate that this happens, but I would think I would not feel right if for some reason I got to be the exception and I would get to have my mother back. It just wouldn't seem fair.
Can
And
see.
I don't even know if that makes sense.
He nods.
Maybe it's just my way of coping with it so that I can feel less sad.
That's why I'm praying to Palor. I know it's not the same, but our lineage goes back to the Underdark. The darkest pits of the material plane. Inhospitable and horrible. No sunlight. No radiance, just despair. Darkness. After everything that happened, that's what my life felt like. Even though I was above ground, I felt like I was in that pit. Felt like I was back where my ancestors fled from. Then I met your mother. And she was that well of radiance. She was my passage out of the Underdark. I've never put much stock in deities, or gods, or divine powers, but your mother was my Palor. Radiant and as beautiful as the dawn. So if I don't have her anymore, I want to live by her example. I want to find that dawn. And I want to try and be it for the people who need it. And
She's gonna... Oh, she was gonna bring him in for a hug then.
That's exactly what he was gonna do.
LOL.
Look at that. Oh my god.
Crazy.
Oh my god. So yeah, you and your father, you hug.
And then she will say while hugging him, "You want to talk to her? She's still here." And then pull away, like, so that he realizes, like, looking in her eyes, like, she's serious, like, she means that.
And you see
Her eye, singular, yes.
there is you can see there is this immediate like lunge to say yes, but he kind of stops himself.
I don't think so. Not today, at least.
Okay. We have time. I just want you to know that we can do that.
Thank you. Kind of squeeze your hand a bit.
And she'll sit there with him for a while until he, I don't know, wants to pray again. And after that while kind of passes, she'll go down to see her mom. Or just ask if she could see her mom. I know they're super protective of the dead bodies. So
Yeah. But luckily, due to what you did for the city,
yes, that could. Hey, have you ever heard of a queen? That's me. Thank you.
Uh-oh. The abuse of power starts now.
No, this is Felicity. Bianca could never. Felicity, maybe.
Oh, yikes. Nobody give Felicity access to a monarchy. Alrighty.
Or do it just for entertainment purposes.
Oh yeah. So you speak with the speakers of the Raven Queen, and yikes. You speak with the speakers of the Raven Queen, and of course, they, being a Valkyrie yourself, they allow you down.
That's very true.
In the crypts, and you can see that this is where a lot of the most holy, where their bodies are entombed. But you can also see that there is a small section for bodies that are of individuals that had fallen during the fight, that due to their station and their achievements or their acts of service within the battle itself, their bodies are preserved. So should the time come, should their families deem necessary, they can have a proper burial in accordance with whatever honors or rights they want them to have.
And Kyo's down here too, right?
Keothi is down here as well.
Yeah, she would probably visit both of them. Maybe Keothi first. Because she wants to, that's a party thing, she knows that weight is on all of us, not just her. And but regardless, it's still her friend. She wants to pay her respects. But I think she would, stick with her mom and just honestly probably just sit there in contemplation for a while, thinking, and praying, and then crying probably. Just this might be where she just like breaks down for the day and then sucks it up and moves on.
Mhm. Okay. Alrighty. So you spend a fair bit of time down there, and eventually, after we can say maybe an hour of being down there, 55 minutes of that spent sobbing.
Yeah.
You eventually sort of wipe away the tears, and you begin to head back up the stairs. And as you do, you can see your father waiting for you up at the top.
Oh.
And
Yeah, she'll meet up with him.
he'll kind of hug you as you get to the top, noticing the redness in your eyes and obviously knowing where you went. And
Hi.
your eye, yes.
I'm sorry, this is I can't shit. I'm assuming she didn't cry from the flame, so
No, no, she did not. He'll look you in your eye, and he'll sort of, with his hands on your shoulders, say, "So, where are we headed to next?" With a smile on his face.
Well, we can help my friends. They're doing a little bit of, I'm going to call it damage control. I want to prepare to talk to Periton. I probably will have Victor help put out the word that I'd like to talk to everybody, maybe tomorrow morning, and just take all of today to gather. And I definitely wanted to talk with all of my companions, so maybe we should just start to head back and see what everyone needs along the way.
Of course. Well, let's go then.
And she'll take his hand, and I think, like, it's okay to be overly affectionate for, like, moments like this.
Yeah, and he'll kind of squeeze back, and he'll say, "My queen, would you allow me to escort you back to the meeting hall?" And he'll kind of like gesture his arm out for you to grab onto.
You may, sir.
Thank you very much,
Trying
my
to be
queen.
just as corny.
Yeah. And with that, the two of you head to the father-daughter dance.
Yes! I feel like I've done this before, right after my mom
What?
dies. I also went to the father died.
What a brutal circumstance. Anna would pick us right up. Let's go dance.
Okay. Alrighty.
Well, let's go clubbing.
That's the correct mood, always.
Yeah.
Let's-
So,
this calls for meeting some new people.
maybe I can find a new mom.
Oh, jeez.
Go to the store,
Who's
get a new one.
older?
Okay. So,
Oh god, our mom broke. We'll get a new one.
Gradually get on and off again.
well, she's currently
Oh
turned
my
off, but I
God.
can't get her to turn back on.
I
think
tried the
I-
off and on trick, and I think it was a mistake.
Okay.
But
You guys are horrible.
in the meta, Bianca would like to talk to. She's already had her one-on-one. Oh my gosh, I sound like I'm at a job with Carastilla, but she wants to talk individually with everybody, as well as a whole group, just to talk about Kyo and
Yeah.
how we wanna process that. But
Okay.
we can move on to if someone else has something. But that's my laundry list.
All I've got right now is Cecily would like to. She has a couple of things she'll bring up to an entire group whenever it's time for that, but she just wants to catch just Bianca for just like a minute.
Oh, I have
when the
long
opportunity
stuff
arises.
for Cecily, so it won't be a minute.
Okay.
So
Well.
I have a few things, but for Cecily, I don't know if that was said. I meant to say that.
You did.
Okay.
so now it's extra clear.
I'm sorry. I started panicking for some reason, and I didn't shut up.
Oh man, someone throw that in the quotes channel. I started panicking and I didn't shut up. But yeah, just Cecily has like a little thing to say. If you wanna be very productive, keep talking when when she says her thing, or it could wait till later. Whatever you want to do.
Oh, I figured we'd do it both at the same time whenever they meet up. Like,
Okay.
unless your thing is dramatic as fuck. I don't know.
No, I'll work it into the conversation. It's all good.
Okay. So, whoever wants to do something, or one-on-ones or group chats, I don't care.
Okay. So I will say sporadically throughout the rest of the day and the evening, all of you eventually do return. I would say that the first person back would probably be Bianca, as she was doing the thing that was the least time consuming. Followed shortly by Cecily, then Suni, then Carasilla, then Ajax, returning. However, I will say Bianca, as you are approaching the sort of meeting room with your rooms attached, this sort of building that has been sort of gifted to you in the time that you're within Periton, you can see Victor is making his way down the street with a few other people, emissaries, talking back and forth. And as he sees you, he sort of waves them away and says, "Excuse me, my queen, may I borrow a moment of your time before you head back into the meeting hall?"
Yes, absolutely. I actually wanted to talk to you as well.
Wonderful. I just wanted to give you a bit of an update on everything that is happening within Periton, very briefly, as to not take up too much of your time.
No, please.
First things first, the excavation of different parts of the city has been going slowly, but day by day is getting accomplished. We have sent out the loyalists. Myself, I've sent out several payments to the city of Richka and of Vesna. They should be sending supplies, food, water, and builders, hopefully with the aid with the rebuilding of the areas. I also have been instructing the individuals in charge of cleanup. We've been delivering the rubble and rocks to the southern end of the city where Issen's tower was. That tower is in the process of being destroyed currently. And the builders that we do have in the city, they are being paid very well in the current moment to seal off the tower and to start rebuilding the wall on the southern part of the city. And I will say, not that anything needs to be addressed now, but there have been several letters that have arrived from Vesna, from Maester, and from the northern mountain range. From a smaller nation of mountain dwarves that have reached out to have some type of parley, I suppose. But these are all things, nothing that was addressed as incredibly pressing. So please take the rest of tonight to rest, and we can get into it in the morning. I just wanted you to be aware of it.
No, thank you. That's excellent. Thank you so much for all of that. I also wanted to let you know, I don't know if tomorrow would be a reasonable time, but I did want to basically address the city soon. Maybe tomorrow would be too soon. I just want to give them some sort of answers and direction. Maybe I need to give me and the rest of the party more time to have a more formulated, I don't know, update. I don't want people to feel aimless. I want them to know what's going on and have full transparency about what we're planning on doing and what we want to do, and keep that open communication. And raise some spirits the best we can, if that makes sense. Maybe, if not tomorrow, the end of the week? Or do you think that's too late?
My queen, may I be entirely honest with you?
Please.
I think that, right now what these people need is, from what I've heard, they are incredibly thankful for what you've done. Saving of the city, you and your companions. They know that they wouldn't be here if not for you. However, there are some that believe they are in this position because of you.
Understandably so.
Same day you arrived, so did the fiends. If I were to make an honest proposition as to what I think you should do, giving you the best counsel I can, it would be, instead of making a speech tomorrow or the day after, going out into the city, doing what you can to help the people without making any big to-do about it. And then, provided there's a more positive reception, then perhaps some type of ceremony can be held. Perhaps when the supplies arrive from Vesna, you can hold a celebration where they get a full day's rations as opposed to half or quarter. And I believe there are some wine reserves we have within the bank that can be used. People tend to be a little bit more receptive when they have a belly full of food and a warm cup of wine.
Okay, thank you. I think that's a good idea. I'm glad. I know you've been working closely with a lot of the community, so I know you're hearing a lot of what's going on, and I'm not going to always hear the whispers, so I appreciate that greatly. I think that's a good idea. I'll run it by the rest of my party as well, and but for now, let's go with that as the plan. I'll let you know if anything changes, okay?
Wonderful. Very well. Enjoy the rest of your evening, my queen.
You as well.
See Victor, he nods his head, and you can see as soon as he breaks away from you, several of the other emissaries, they move back towards him, asking him questions about where supplies are supposed to go. Yes, very much so.
I like him, though.
He's one of the good ones. So, you head into the meeting room, and I would say that as you arrive, you and Ildan, your father, you take a seat and just sort of take off your cloaks and allow them to sit on the rack to let the rain fall from them, allowing them to dry. As heading into this very warm room, fire currently burning in the hearth off to the side, you just take a moment to sit in that peaceful silence. Shortly after, Cecily enters, and you can see Ildan. He'll kind of nod and head off as he allows the two of you to be in the room alone. But before we get into any Cecily or Bianca conversation, that is right where we're going to go ahead and take a break. So we've been at it for a minute and 2 hours specifically.
120 minutes.
Yep. So we're gonna take a break.
Feel like it.
Yeah, I know it's been a fun quick session. Well,
Been talking
I'm
hours
having
ago.
fun.
all right, we're gonna head to break and we'll be right back. Oh, that's the wrong one. That was a battle map. we're back.
Bow.
Sorry, that was a longer break. I was very hungry. I had to get some food. I got
talking
chicken
Come
tendies
on.
and a very flat Pepsi Zero. So I'm very excited to be here.
Hell yeah!
Yeah, it's flat. It's flat enough where the taste changes too.
Oh yeah, that's the stuff.
Nice.
Yeah, where
Is it
I would
warm as
like
well,
it.
or is it cold?
it's cold. You can see the
I feel like that makes it worse.
bottle sweating. No, it just kind of
I feel
tastes
like-
like water.
Yeah, I love when it just tastes a little bit like tap water that's been sitting out for a bit.
It tastes like water with none of the benefits.
Hey, whoa! Why you coming for
ever
flat
wanna-
Pepsi Zero?
You ever want water that dehydrates you?
It's okay. All right. Anyway.
Sick.
Excuse me. Sorry. Let's dive back into the session. Picking up where we left off. Oh my goodness. Excuse me.
Is that Pepsi Zero?
No, it's not.
There's more than 0 burps, I'll tell you that. There's a fucking...
Yeah, That's how fast I've been smashing these chicken tenders. That's what it is. So, picking up where we left off, our group of adventurers find themselves in the aftermath of the siege of Periton. After fighting back and fending off the countless hordes of demons and devils and fiends, the party now finds themselves in a small bit of security. Even though they are surrounded by sadness and sorrow, they are finding ways to help the people of Periton. It is both. 0 is max. Okay. Anyway, so sorrow, sadness, real tragedy. What's happening in this town?
Let's talk about Pepsi Max.
Oh my god.
And sorry, this is me coping with it. Okay, I'm not gonna look at that. So, our party has been trying everything they can to try and help this town. Right? Not just being the heroes in that moment, fighting against evil in that moment, but now continuing that goodness, kindness, and justice in whatever way they can in the time that they'll be here in Periton. Where we had left off, Ildan and Bianca, the father and daughter, they had just returned to the meeting hall where the party is allowed to stay. Thanks to the generosity of the loyalists, staying in this area, staying in nicer rooms with a meeting hall and even a small other additions to the building, a small library and a small bathhouse where the proper sanitary precautions can be made. So, after several days of healing, we eventually zoom back in to our party. And we can see that Bianca and Cecily are now back within the building. Ildan excuses himself from the room and heads off to the library to do a little bit of light reading or just a little bit of relaxation outside of the intensity of that temple that he was in, mourning the loss of his wife. But with that, Bianca, Cecily, the two of you are now alone within the meeting hall, and the floor is yours.
Yeah, seeing Cecily come in, she will give a soft smile and say, "Was it productive? How is everything?"
A lot of broken families out there. I don't know how helpful I'm gonna be in the whole political thing, but if there's a spot for me to help out at one of the halfway homes, I think I'd like to do that.
I think you would be more than helpful. I actually I've been thinking about ways I can implement the rest of you in order to grow a court. Of course, if you all are willing. I actually had 2 different positions in mind for you. I'm not sure which one you would rather lean to. I also wanted to respect if you didn't want a position at all. I wasn't sure what your plan was when you maybe wanted to go see your father and be reunited with him. I don't know if you'd thought about that step at all or anything.
Well, I've mostly just been making it by every day. Been honest. Haven't had much of a plan since I woke up the second time. But, whatever you're thinking for me, it should probably be more of a closed door position. I mean, Caracella's got away with words. You've got this nice level head. Sunni and Ajax. Stable. Easy to look up to, you know?
Sunni stable?
It's a choice word. I might think of a better one later.
He's
Point
more
is,
stable now.
Yeah, well, point is, I'm good at a different kind of talking. And I wouldn't want to mess it up. This is really fragile, I can tell, and I don't think I'd be nearly as good at keeping a stable dynamic together amongst all these people as I would be at riling them up and tearing them apart, so... What did you have in mind, though? Maybe I'm talking to...
I think you're selling yourself very short, but I do think the positions I had in mind, I think, are different than what you were expecting me to say. I think an obvious one, or at least obvious to me, would be the Grand Mage. You'd kind of be like our Emerald. We would need your guidance on when to use certain kinds of magic. We would use you to assess magical situations. And I think it's a pretty step back position where we would go to you for more special situations rather than a constant ongoing charismatic position like you were maybe not wanting. But alternatively, I also was considering you as master builder, and not in the sense that you have any experience building things, but you've proven that you know cities very well. You also have proven that you know people very well. And I know that you know what it's like to be forgotten in a city. And when we rebuild, I don't want anyone forgotten. And I think if you were the one guiding those hands, if you were the brain behind it, that's way less likely. I even was thinking about necessary, obviously, orphanages, and I know you've been through those. I know you know what they're like. I do not. I need your help to make this a home for everybody.
Wow. Well, I gotta say, as far as the Master Mage thing goes, that sounds badass, but I gotta be honest, Bianca, it's all vibes over here. I don't really know what I'm doing.
Me either.
I feel the weave sometimes. I can tell when I'm pulling at a thread too much. Sometimes something I do, it's almost like it rhymes with whatever came before me in the pattern. Not that it was meant to happen or that the weave made it happen, but some sort of system. But you're probably going to want to know somebody that can read a scroll a little better than me if you want a Grand Mage. The other thing, though, I gotta be honest, I don't know if it's in me, but I saw who I was before Summer's Rest out there today. And I know how to talk to that person. Part of me thinks maybe I had to die so that everything in my first life could truly be in the past. And I could dedicate this one to pulling some other people through. Also, and she'll get a little bit closer. She'll reach for the last Cecily flower that's on her arm. I'll keep this quick. You don't have to talk to me at all. Ever. Only if you want to. I'll listen, but I mean, I didn't know how to talk about it for 4 years, so no rush. But I just want to tell you what I told every kid out there. That no matter how it went down and whatever you're thinking right now, it's not your fault. It's not your fault they're gone. And she will just gently hand out the Cecily flower to her.
Bianca will gently take it, but then pull Cecily into like a very encompassing hug and hold her there for a minute. And then kiss her on the forehead before she lets go. Thank you. I don't know how to talk about it. But when I figure it out, I'll let you know.
Yeah.
But
You're gonna feel things that you don't expect to. Just so you're ready. I, for a while, was really, really angry at my mom for ever adopting me in the first place. Because if she had just left me in that orphanage, then... But I couldn't stay angry at her long, and eventually all the anger just came back. And for a few years there, I just wanted to hurt. Felt more comfortable to hurt than to not. Like I said, there's really not much to say, but I've been there, and I will be there.
like after listening and taking in Cecily's words, she will say, "You have grown so much."
Only about an inch last I checked. I think my spine got realigned when I woke up. But
I'm really proud of you.
thank you. I had some good role models.
I do have one more favor to ask of you. Not to completely redirect the conversation.
No, that's okay. I'll save every orphan and then I'll get right to this one.
One moment, and she's gonna go to her room where she was keeping the lantern, and bring it out to Cecily. And so showing Cecily the flame and everything, she's gonna say, "I don't know if it was clear, but this is Issen's soul. I didn't want it to slip away to the Dark One. It needs to be bale-fired. If you don't have the strength in you today, that is okay, but I just don't want this lingering around longer than it should be." And I know I've already asked so much of you, I hate to ask one more thing.
She'll just calmly take the lantern and just put just an open palm up to it.
Well,
And-
1 second before you do so. This is weird, but I'm gonna say a few words, if that doesn't bother you.
No. You can say goodbye to people who were absolutely shitty to you. Still a goodbye. And she'll just set the lantern down.
And she'll take a moment to even gather what she knows she wants to do this, but she has no idea where to start. And then she'll say, "I don't care if you can hear me. The only thing I hope is that if you can, my words disappoint you. It bothers me only a little, though, that in the end, I gave you what you wanted. I truly can never understand you, and I don't care to try. However, I feel like a piece of me is dying with you. A part of myself that I had to learn to love because despite the darkness in it, it was still me. We are undeniably tied to each other. This is not me thanking you, far from it. But I got over hating the piece of me that was you long before you met me in Summer's Rest. So I guess this is me saying that you never would have won. Yes, you may have killed me if something had gone differently, but you never would have had that thrall, your heir. I hope that you feel emptiness right now in your last moments of existence. I hope that in this last fight, you got that you wanted so desperately that you realize now that you have nothing. No heir, no legacy, no more chances. And now I get to be a warning to all those demons and devils who try to prey on the weak and be a beacon of hope for all those in my shoes. Goodbye, Rolius Isin. It has been a pleasure taking everything from you. And then she'll look to Cecily and kind of give her a nod.
Cecily will nod back, and there's sort of a cool expression of like respect, but she'll mostly keep her face kind of blank and just reach out her hand again, and obviously it'll burn a little bit again, but she'll try to do it gently, so it's not like a cannon blast. Just...
Okay. Real quick, let me double check something.
It doesn't go away.
Balefire doesn't work on Isin.
So Cecily, as you target the Lantern of the Valkyries with the spell Balefire, as that white-hot rod of iron shoots from your hand into the lantern, that same burning sensation happens to your hand, but as soon as that white-hot rod of iron hits the lantern, there is this sort of crack and break. As you can see, part of the glass window that is there, as it cracks and breaks, there is a reverberation of radiant energy as it's sent back at your hand, as you take 40 points of radiant damage.
Ouch.
So, Isin's soul is still in there?
Mm-hmm. It's trapped within the lantern, but the lantern itself is something that is divine.
Cecily will just kind of retract her hand, just smoking. Well, if you want to be at my bedside in a minute, I can try again.
No. I don't know what to do. I'm too nervous to take it out of the lantern. But I also don't want it to stick around. She looks like even more concerned, like stress, like holding her head.
Look. If Tyr is safe in there from anything, then so's that thing. It's alright, just seems like an issue between you and the Queen. Well, the Queen and the Queen, I guess.
Seems like a question for the Raven Queen.
That's what I meant. I was also calling you a queen.
Oh,
That's
I thought you
cool.
meant... Oh, I misunderstood, Cecily. I'm sorry. I'm so stressed.
No, gonna have to get used to it. I'm gonna call you Queen Bee, you know. It's too good not to.
Yeah, I did not expect that.
Well, she'll just kind of be looking at her arm. I've had worse at this point. Be okay. It's worth a shot.
Thank you. I should have thought of that. I don't know why I didn't. Oh, mostly because nothing's happened to the. Yeah. I'm gonna
Well.
stop saying my flustered thoughts now.
Hey, live and learn. You know how many things we had to put Morwen next to figure out they explode?
Yes.
It's alright.
Thanks for being Morwen in this situation. So sorry.
I'm half that woman. Just keep that in mind if you want to throw me next to a bomb.
I'm gonna
Well.
put this back in my room now.
Can you just, maybe set them on the opposite corner of Tyr?
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
Mimir's keeping an eye on Tyr.
Yes, he is.
Just about you prop up the head in the lantern every morning. Like, all right, don't let that out of your sight.
Yeah. Let me know if anything happens to this.
Of course. I'll let you know in a heartbeat as soon as you get back.
And you get back, he's like, well, it was taken, and I couldn't stop it. I'm ahead. Oh.
Okay.
But yeah, she'll set the Issen's lantern down with like a glare and be like, I thought I'd be rid of you, and then go back to join Cecily. But I don't have anything else with Cecily in particular.
Okay. Alrighty. So then, one by one, eventually the party members do return. Like I said, Suni, and then Carisilla, and then eventually Ajax. As all 5 of you have returned to the meeting hall, your building, for the time being here at Periton, excuse me. As all 5 of you return, you can see that as eventually 6, 7 o'clock rolls around, when I'd say Ajax, you probably end up returning. As most activity in the city has stopped, or at least slowed down, you can see that there is a delivery that is brought by with the rations for the evening for all of you. You can see that it's not a lot, same as for breakfast. It doesn't seem like you all are getting any special treatment in terms of food. It kind of seems like it's the same plate for everybody. But all of your food is at least cooked and is well seasoned with whatever seasonings they had left over from the places that weren't destroyed. So there's a little bit of extra flavor in there, but it's still, it's still rations that is served to you for dinner. So as all of you sit around the table eating dinner.
Is it still raining outside?
At this point, yeah.
Okay. Cecily's kind of, she's thinking about that master builder conversation. And right now she's kind of just looking around the giant space that the 5 of them are sitting in. And knows how many people are just sitting out there in the rain. So she's not saying any of that out loud, but all of you can see her just like looking around like, we could really be using this something.
This is why she talked to you about it. Or Cookie. As we're all sitting around to eat dinner, I imagine it's like, like when your family just like went through. This is the weirdest thing, but like, I'm remembering like when when my family got back from like my grandmother's funeral, we were all just like had to like keep moving on. So we're just like in silence, just like, yeah. Like I feel like that's what this is. But Bianca would like break the silence and say, I talked with Victor today, again after this morning, and he had a little bit of insight on how the town was doing. We are going to be getting supplies from like Richka and I think Vesna as well. We also have a few people that kind of reached out wanting to make like a parlay. So that would be Vesna, Maester, and some mountain dwarves from the northern mountain range. So it looks like we're going to be maybe gaining some allies. The morale is also pretty low, and some are still pretty upset about the occurrences of everything, which I can understand why. So he suggested, I know you all, especially today, went out to help in the community. I will make that more of a priority, especially tomorrow and moving forward. But as well, he mentioned that when we get supplies to help rebuild, maybe there'd be enough to have a small, I don't know if celebration is really the word, but almost like a respite, a time to enjoy being alive, maybe is the best way, a new beginning. Something just to lighten the spirits of everybody. Obviously, it'd be a very modest celebration. But how do we feel? That was his suggestion of what he thinks the town would appreciate. And honestly, him being here as long as he has, and I know he's hearing all the whispers. I think it's a good idea.
He said we could use this whole building, right?
Yes.
I know we can't fit everybody in here, but I feel like we could do a little something. Host an event. Hell, I mean, we could even get more shelter in here.
Definitely.
So I feel like it
Ajax,
might be more
Carousel?
than a good idea after all. I think, especially since it's not going to be happening tonight and not for, I'm guessing, at least the next couple of evenings. It's good to have something close by for people to look forward to as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it is important to make sure that people do have something to perhaps take their mind off what's been happening.
Well, Queen, I am at your humble service, but I am Carasilla's juggling partner first and foremost. So, if a show happens, I'm afraid I'll have to help out with that.
That will be quite all right. But actually, I do think live music would be great to have.
Well, it does happen to be my specialty. Although I will note, Carissa takes her Gertie everywhere. She has not been carrying it around today. It's just been in her room.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Besides that, Keothi. I know we don't want to talk about it, because in a way, talking about it is the process of moving on, and maybe we're not ready to yet. I visited her today, along with my mother. I just don't want her to be alone. Which I know is only so much in our control.
Well, there are still the other Goliaths that were in the city with her. I think even without us, I don't think she would ever be alone.
True. Would we like to try and talk to her? I've never had that many people. I've actually never had somebody else cast it through somebody else. I was going to try with my dad for my mom today, but he didn't feel up to it. So it's something that I will have to attempt. It would be part of the ritual to help her soul pass on, though. It wouldn't just be to talk to her. Is anyone open to this, opposed to this? How do we want to handle... Basically, how do we want to handle her funeral?
I'm not too familiar with the traditions of the Hearthstone, but I think finding out whatever is most appropriate there would be best. Certainly making sure that word gets back there at least.
I think that's excellent, actually.
She had a song she knew from back in the Hearthstone about the last of the giants. Maybe that's not the best funeral song, but we could do some digging. Something. I think still a bit of a shaky breath. We plan for it tomorrow. That might give us all time to think of something to say or do. I mean, it still doesn't feel real.
We have the time. I think, like you said, Carasilla, talking to the Goliaths, knowing their practices, and I do think music for her would be very appropriate. She had a beautiful voice. And I know Suni's not here, but let's just say that we all are like, and you should probably, as a Kalukatho and a Mother of Mountains guy, do something. And we can all just remind Cameron to figure that out.
Mm-hmm.
That's,
Which I think he would. Maybe has
Yeah.
already thought about it too.
That's part of the reason. Like, I, as Mark, want to give Cameron a chance to
Yeah.
do a thing, you know?
Oh yeah. I
Um,
definitely wasn't thinking it was gonna be this session. I just was like, we
Yeah.
should probably not talk about it.
Yeah, it'd be weird if we were all just like, oh god, remember Kyo, like 5 sessions later. Like, that's not,
Yeah.
Oh my god.
that's
That'd
not
be
the
really
vibe.
tragic.
But yeah, Cecily's definitely not ready to handle it. So she's,
Yeah, and I just wanted to also put out there the whole like, I don't know if Bianca can, but maybe do speak with dead and somehow amplify it to cast it through all of us, and then we can all talk to Kyo. Maybe I think you get 5 questions, and there's 5 of us, so we could maybe each get to say something to her.
Oh no, that would be sick ass. That'd be really cool.
That's my train of thought. So, everyone, keep that in mind. We just got to keep Cameron in the loop.
Sweet. Okay, well, that tomorrow. Morale boost, maybe the day after.
Day after or end of the week, we will need the supplies to come in order to have that celebration. We don't have anything to really celebrate with right now. So I think maybe just doing the planning part of it, like date, time, location. Like, I definitely think this place has lots of space, but maybe an outdoor celebration would be easier to get even more people involved. Just kind of start to brainstorm a little bit.
What about tonight?
What about tonight?
Well, if we don't need me for anything, I think I might try to how do you put it? Negotiate with this weather a little bit. See if I can't keep a few more people dry throughout the night. I know it's not. There's no way to get to everybody, but I'd rather do that than sit here.
Every little bit helps.
Okay. Well, if nobody needs me, I might go get to that then.
Bianca will
And,
just give a nod.
Cecily will. She wants to just share a look with Ajax too as she's going, just to see how he did throughout the day, because they had a very vulnerable moment together right at the beginning, and then she doesn't know how he's been.
Are you trying to like read his expression right now, or like his body
Yeah.
language? Or...
Yeah, just kind of read generally what's going on.
Well, you can see. Well, it's raining, so I guess his fur wouldn't be as dirty as it would be from lifting rubble all day. But you can see that he's hunched over a little bit more. Like
Mhm.
normally Ajax is like perfect posture, and he holds himself really upright, but he's slouched over. He hasn't really looked up that much, other than when people are talking, he kind of makes eye contact with the people who are talking to make sure that he's giving them audience. He's just been quiet.
She'll just kind of look at him, and you see her like thinking of something to say that might be more helpful, but eventually she just lands on, "Hey, we did good, and we'll just do good again tomorrow, okay?"
Yeah. I I might be following closely behind you. I feel like I can help more. Be careful out there.
I will. And yeah, she'll head out, and I think all she's gonna do, she'll obviously do the storm bubble thing, but she'll get somewhere toward the center, like an intersection or something, where she's obvious to anybody who doesn't have shelter right now, and they can see just the, like, you know, canopy basically going on. Once she has some people's attention, and as many people as want to, you know, cram into the little, like, 20-foot sphere around her, she's actually just going to sit cross-legged and meditate, and she's going to see if, through the weave, through the wind, through the lightning, through the vibes of the material plane, if she can just, like, I guess pray would be the right word. Just like almost a call to nature for the weather to please take it easy tonight. Rain just enough to put out the fire and then go away so that these people don't suffer.
Yeah, go ahead and make we'll say a let's do just a straight charisma check.
Dice. That was a 13.
13, okay. In a small, maybe like 1 mile radius around you, the weather does let up. So if you sort of throughout the night walk around the city, it doesn't stop the rain at all, but in the area surrounding you, the rain does let up. It does slow. It is a small pitter patter as opposed to sort of torrential sheets that it may have been going late into the night. So it is helpful, and especially the people that are immediately around you with the rain bubble, they're very thankful. But it's not nearly as wide sweeping of an effect as you would have wished.
Okay. Well, she'll kind of look up and kind of cock her head and I'll take what I can get. And she'll motion to somebody in the inner circle. Find anybody who's trying to set up a shelter, somebody in an alleyway, somebody alone. Get them over here. Anybody that has nowhere to go for tonight, they can be around here. And other than that, she's going to stay put so that she's really easy to find, and she'll just, like, lean somewhere where she can basically sleep sitting up. And she'll just, I mean, obviously she's slept on the streets before, so that part of it is not uncomfortable, really. She'll just kind of just put her trust in the clump of people around her that if anything starts happening, she'll probably wake up.
Yeah.
And she'll just sleep outside for the night so that people within that mile can take it easy. Anybody that doesn't have a roof.
Yeah, of course. Okay. Yeah, and you can see that throughout the night there are people that arrive very thankful of it, as most of the boarding houses, halfway homes, inns, taverns, temples, at this point getting into the night, they're overflowing with people. So even if it's not sheltered traditionally, having the break from the rain is very nice for them. So all of these people are very appreciative of that. So Cecily remains outside for the rest of her evening. For the rest of you that are back in the building, is anybody doing anything specifically before they head to sleep?
Yeah, Bianca would check in on Ajax. I don't know if he headed out again or headed to his room or what he was doing.
I think probably 10 or 15 minutes after Cecily left, he would finish eating, but again, there's still leftovers. He didn't eat everything. And just get up and motion like he's leaving again to go help. So he's going.
Yeah, Bianca would follow him and just say, "Do you have a second?"
Yeah. Everything okay?
No. But you especially.
What do you mean?
A lot happened, and we're all. I think I said this to Caracilla. We all went through something unique. I don't know what happened. I know it was bad, but I don't know. You don't seem well.
I'm just tired, is all.
Insight check. Is it necessary?
Yes.
It is necessary. Okay, cool. Insight. Too bad that's a +0. Caracilla, give me inspiration. It's just bad. I got a 4.
Oh my god. You know in episode 1 of Breaking Bad when Walt gets cancer and Skyler's like, how was your day? And he goes, it's fine.
I rolled a 14 plus 1. Do I have to say which one I used?
I know which one
Joe.
it is.
No, you don't. You don't need to.
Deception. There you go.
I know which one. I'm like, I know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, he seems fine, but it's fine. It's not typical.
Yeah.
It is just he seems very down, but you can't exactly tell if anything's just wrong or if it's just the entire mood of the city kind of weighing down on him.
Mhm. Okay. I guess forgive me for prying. I don't know,
There's
you're a good
no
friend.
reason to apologize. I'm more worried about you. I don't have the words. How are you really?
I'm giving in. As in, to do what my heart wants won't help. I'm doing the next correct thing. I'm gonna keep helping. I'm gonna rebuild with you all. And I know that's what you guys are doing too. I'm just trying to not fight it inside of myself. I'm sorry.
For what?
It's like I'm not sorry, but I am sorry. I'm sorry for running into the tower. I'm like not sorry about it, but I also am very sorry about it.
That actually is probably what saved us. I won't lie, well, at the time, Ajax didn't see her run into the tower, did he? Because he was like just waking up from unconsciousness.
It depends how you want to how you think it would have happened, because Bianca did feed him the healing potion. So I don't know. I feel like he at least maybe would have saw her. I don't know if he would have saw her directly run into the tower. It's up to you.
Yeah. He says, I won't lie, I was a little upset in the moment. But it was smart. Reckless, but smart.
A smart, dumb choice.
Yes, smart, dumb choice. And you came out on top. What became of Isin?
He's in my lantern. Yeah, his soul is in my lantern. And I tried to get rid of it today, and Cecily got extremely wounded, and I'm stressed about it, but you know, it is what it is.
I won't lie, I have no idea about anything magical other than my sword. So, this one is beyond me.
Yeah, same. I'll just talk to the Raven Queen about it. Hopefully she'll listen and help me out, because I have no idea what to do about it.
I'm sorry, Bianca.
For
Everything.
being my protector, being my supporter.
I can say yes, supporter, but I didn't protect anyone. Not successfully.
I don't think you understand that you definitely have. Specifically, when I was with you guys in the fight with Isin, you were so close to death. Because you took all those hits. He was going to attack everyone but me. And if you weren't the first one to take all those blows, the other three wouldn't have made it. I just don't think that would have been possible.
Maybe you're right. It's...
But also, I don't think you realize that you have been my inspiration to protect all of them ever since I've met them. Ever since Summer's Rest, when I saw those 3 kids in jail with me. And then even meeting, Carasilla had her protector Morwen, but then once Morwen left, I felt a strong responsibility to protect her as well, just like a sister, like I've been doing with Cecily and Suni and what once was Poe, and even at one point Ishima. You don't know him, it's fine. But you were my role model to be their protector. Always. I learned how to be a protector through you, and then in that last moment, I chose to protect you.
Thank you. And you see that this whole time, like, Ajax has been keeping his posture. He's been trying to keep his demeanor, but he goes into he slouches a little bit and kind of puts his head down and he says, I lied. I'm not okay.
Okay, let's talk about it. If you're okay with talking about it, I want to be here for you.
I appreciate that. But not now. I need time to think. I don't know what I need.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Please stop apologizing. We
Try.
couldn't have done this without you. I definitely couldn't have done this without you. I guess if I'll speak for myself. I mean, I couldn't have done it without everybody, but I want you to know that you're a very important piece of that.
That means a lot. And I wouldn't be alive right now if it wasn't for you. I appreciate you protecting me.
She'll hug him.
He'll hug her back. But it's not with the normal strength he usually hugs with. It's weaker.
And Bianca's is stronger than normal. She's normally one of those like soft huggers, and she's like, nah, embracing.
Yeah.
And then she'll pull away and say, it seems like you have a lot in your mind, but I do have an important question to ask you, but I think it's okay if we give some time before we talk about it. It maybe a more clear mind, you might appreciate it. So,
Is it important to you?
it is.
We can talk now if you want.
You don't need to make a decision right now, and it definitely does not need to be at the forefront of your mind, as I can already tell it's very occupied. But I want, as I told Cecily and Caracilla, and I'll talk to Suni as well, I really want to give you guys distinct positions, because you deserve not only the recognition, but I think your talents are very, very useful to rebuilding the Old Kingdom. And I'd like to have some people that I really trust on my court. So, I've been thinking about a few positions for everybody. And yours is a little interesting, because I was thinking normally somebody has a Master of War or a Master of Defense. And I was thinking, why not have a Master of War and Defense? Because ideally, you want to be strong so that no one threatens you, and you want And right now we are in a war. We're taking back land. We're reclaiming. But even more ideally, keeping peace. And I don't want to be looking for war. I want to be looking for peace and using war when necessary. Just think about it.
If that is what you want, I will think about it. Have you considered asking the Swordmaster?
The Swordmaster will definitely be a part of the court. However, though he is loyal to the crown, I think it is important for me to, in a way, I think starting over and starting fresh is what the Old Kingdom needs. Not that he has anything associated with the old Kingdom necessarily, but I think for what I have in mind for Sunni, he will suit that with Sunni a lot better. But you, I know you. I don't know the Swordmaster. I trust you. I trust the Swordmaster, but I trust you guys in a different way. And I don't know a better person to protect my kingdom than the person who protected me back all the way in Belka.
Then I will think on it.
Please don't feel any pressure, okay?
I'll try not to. I'm honored, Bianca. But as you said, I need time to think.
Of course. I understand.
I think, did Bianca stop Ajax like right outside the door? Is that like where we are? Where are we?
Yeah, I imagine like either like we stepped outside and we're in the rain, or it's like right before we stepped outside
Okay.
and not in the rain. If we want to be dramatic, let's be in the rain.
Okay, for dramatic effect. He will just... I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Okay.
I think I just need to help more. Get my mind off things.
I understand. That's totally fine. Take all the time you need.
Okay. And he will go in for another hug,
Yeah.
and then I guess start walking back into the city and helping people. But there is one other thing Ajax is going to do, but we can go to somebody else if anybody else is doing anything.
Bianca was just gonna walk back in to be with Carousel and Sunni. That's it. I'm tapped out for the day. I've done so much.
Yeah, I didn't have anything else I wanted to do tonight specifically. So, go ahead.
Yeah, Ajax is going to help a couple things, moving rubble, moving things that people need, getting people to shelter. And then eventually, he's going to walk off into the city somewhere secluded, somewhere there's nobody around. I don't know how far that is, but he'll walk until he gets there. And he's just going to just stand there and take his symbol that he has, that he's had around his neck of, it's Palor and Leos, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he's just going to just mutter under his breath, like, it's not really words, it's more like praying, like in his mind, almost. You know, you can talk to yourself in your mind, but you don't actually say it out loud, you can hear yourself. Kind of just asking why to Palor and Leos, and then eventually he is going to yell and roar the loudest he is ever in his life up to the sky, drop to the ground, and then just like sit there and cry.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure maybe Cecily would have heard the roar, because Cecily's outside, so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She'll probably stand up, and she'll, I imagine there's quite a bunch of people around her.
Mm-hmm.
So I imagine she'll, like, gust herself over them real quick just to, like, get some leverage and kind of get the crowd to disperse real quickly. And she'll kind of motion to everybody else around, just, it's okay, I know who that was. I'll be back. And she'll head off toward that direction, doing her best to keep the weather kind of in her control as she goes.
Okay. As Ajax's roar reverberates throughout that part of the city, the roar echoing throughout the abandoned alleyways and water-filled gutters. Cecily, as you begin to make your way towards Ajax to hopefully provide some type of counsel or at least comfort, before we get to that, that is actually where we're going to go ahead and end tonight's session. So we'll pick up with that next week.
That's a great ending moment, honestly.
Yeah. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed. Be sure to tune in next week for the continuation of the Adventures of the Salamander Coast, or this Saturday for the continuation of the Isles of Iberion. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.